Patel, working as Assistant Professor in Computer Engineering Department at Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center. Today in this video lecture, we are going to discuss Introduction to Management. Outlines are Introduction to Management, its definition, nature and scope, management and administration, skill types and role of managers. Next, management principles. In this, scientific principle and administrative principle. After that, Maslow's hierarchy of needs story. Now, let us see different definition of management by different experts. First, by F.W. Taylor, management is an art of knowing what to do, when to do, and see that it is done in best, cheapest way. According to Mary Parikh Follett, management is an art of getting things done through people. According to Henry Fayol, management is forecast, to plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate and control activity of others. Now, different scope of management like production management. Production means to creation of utilities by converting raw material into final product by various scientific method and regulations. Area of management which deal with product is known as a production management. And next is marketing management. Now, what is marketing management? Marketing management involves distribution of product to a buyer. Next is the finance and accounting management. Finance and accounting management is deal with managerial activity related to obtaining and utilization of funds or business's purpose. Next is personal human resource management. Personal human resource management is phase of management which deal with effective use and control of different manpower. Here we can see in image finance management and a human resource management. Now let us see two different nature of management. First is management is a science and second one is management is an art. Let us discuss. Management is a science. Science is a systematic body of knowledge based on creation principles. Science is based on principle. Science knowledge is obtained through the process of observation, experimentation and testing. Science is based on observation, experimentation and testing. We can say management is science by the following argument. First, universally acceptance principle. For example, principle of unity of command. Another argument is inquiry and observation. For example, principle of Henry Fayol of fame remuneration. He observed that the fair remuneration of the person helps in creating a satisfied workforce. Cause and effect relationship. For that, if workers are given bonus, fair wages, they will work hard. If we encourage the worker will work hard. Fourth argument of test of validity and predictability. For example, principle of unity of a command can be tested by comparing two persons, one having a single boss and one having a report to bosses. Next is experimentation. Henry Fayol developed a principle on certain experiments. we can say that management is an science. Management is an art. An art is defined as an application of personalized and generalized knowledge, how to do a things creatively and skillfully. It can be improved through a constant practice only. We have to do constant practice. We can say management is an art by following argument: practice knowledge, personalized skill, creative art, continuous practice, and goal oriented. Thus, we can say management is both science and art. Anyone can learn how to become a manager, but art is to become a good manager. Now, let us see the difference between management and administration. Management is an art of getting things done through other by directing their efforts toward achievement to predetermined goals. Here the goal is predetermined. In administration, it is concerned with formulation of goal, plan and policy. Management is executing function, where administration is a decision making function. Next, management is decide who will do and how will do, where administration decide what is to be done and when is to be done. In management, technical and human skill are required, where in administrative, conceptual and human skill are required. In management, middle and lower level function, where administration is a top level function. Different types of managers. According to position, there are different types. First is top management. It can be a chairman, board of director, CEO or general manager. The next level is middle level management. They can be a head of department or deputy manager. And last is lower level management. They can be supervisors, inspectors or section officers. Top level management. The top level management is ultimate source of authority. They gives more time on planning and coordinating functions. They control and coordinate the activity of all organization. They prepare goal, strategy and policy for organization. They also provide directions. They also maintain contacts with outside world. For example, board of director, CEO, managing director, these are the top level manager. Next is middle level management. They allocate more time to implement different policies and strategies. They make plan for the sub-unit of organization. They interpret and explain policy from top level management to a lower level management. They also send important reports and other important data to a top level, means a higher level manager. They also responsible for inspiring lower level management towards the better performance. For example, branch manager, departmental managers, they are handle middle level management. Next is lower supervisory or operative level management. They are responsible for quality as well as quantity of a product. They communicate workers' problem and suggestions to the higher level of management. They help to solve different complaints of workers. They are responsible for providing training to workers. They arrange necessary materials, machineries and tools to the workers. They prepare reports about the performance of a worker. They ensure discipline in a company as well as motivate workers in a different way. For example, supervisor, foreman, section officer, superintendent, right? These are the lower level manager. Now, according to different level of management, there are different level of managers, right? And they must have a different skills. In top level management, there must be a conceptual skill. In middle level management, manager have a human skills, and in lower level management, the manager have a technical skills. Next is conceptual skill. A conceptual skill is related with top level management. It includes creativity, analytical and initiative skill. It helps the manager to fix a goal or objective for whole organization and plan for every situation. According to Professor Daniel Kurtz, conceptual skills are mostly required by the top level management because they spend more time in planning, organization and problem solving. The top level manager must find a solution to a problem in a way that would benefit to a company. The top level manager should not only problem oriented but it give a solution generalize. If they only see the problem, they become a problem watchers and they will prove inefficient result. The managers at upper organizational level should be able to design a rational and feasible solution to a problem by considering various internal as well as external factors. At the top level management, conceptual design, interpersonal skills are greatest important here. Next is human skill. The human relation skills are also called interpersonal skill and it is related with all level of management. It is an ability to work with the people. Manager also leads, motivate, direct, communicate and develop his team and spirit. The need for technical skill is lesser at the middle level management. Here, the human skill and conceptual skill are more significant. And last is technical skill. It is capacity to use different tools and techniques in an area in which a person is specialized. Technical skill required particularly with lower level management. The first level management require more technical skill in order to supervise operational employment. They need to have a good human skill for they need to interact with their subordinates on a regular basis. However, conceptual skills are usually not very essential for managers at the supervisory level. Now, role of manager. This role can be grouped into three categories. Interpersonal role. In interpersonal role, figurehead, leader and liaison. In informational role, recipient, disseminator and spoken person. And in decisional role, entrepreneur, disturbance handler, resource allocator and negotiator. Interpersonal role. First is figurehead. The manager is a symbol and a representative of an organization in matter of formalities. He performs official duties. His duties are like sign different documents on behalf of a company, meet visitors and customers, being available for a people, a different agency that will only deal with him because of status and authority, because he is a man. Next is leader. The leader role is to motivate and direct their subordinate. The manager also look after the interest of the subordinate and also tries to solve the problem related to workers. He also set a goal for followers and coordinates the individual goal with the organizational goal. Next is liaison. The liaison role is to get connected between organizational and a outsider. The manager's networks skill to maintain the internal and external contact for information exchange and essential. Top level manager use these to gain favors and information, while the supervisor use it to maintain the routine follow-up of workers. Next is informational role. First is monitor. The manager must establish and maintain information system by building context both within an organization or outside the organization. Training and staffing are deliver information. Next is disseminator. The manager receive, interprets and transmit external information through a agent or a link into a organization, and internal information through the leader between a subordinate. Next is spoken person. The manager spread the organization's information into the general public, such as customer, supplier, government and press. Next is decisional role. First is entrepreneur. The manager initiate and plan the control changes in the organization through exploiting opportunity or solving problem and taking decision to improve existence operation. Next is disturbance handler. The manager react to support spontaneous situation and unpredictable event which pose threats to the organization and must take action to correct that situation. Next is resource allocator. The manager decides where the organization will expand its efforts and makes choice on the allocation of resources such as capital fund, time, material and manpower. Next is negotiator. The manager negotiates on behalf of organization with other person or organization for a new sales contact or for corporate agreements. Now, different responsibilities of the CEO. Board administration and support. In this, he advising and informing board of member. He interfacing between board and staff. Is supporting board's evaluation as chief executive. Next is program, product and service delivery. In this, he supervises design, marketing, promotion, delivery and quality of programs and products and services. Next is financial, tax, risk and facility management. In this, he recommends the yearly budget for board approval and carefully manages organization's resources within those budget and guidelines according to current law and regulation. Next function is human resource management. In this, he effectively manages the human resource of the organization according to current law and the guideline and regulation. Next function, community and public relation. In this, he assured the organization and its mission, program, budget and services are consistently present in a strong positive image to relevant stakeholder. Next is fundraising, means non-profitable specific. In this, oversees the fundraising planning and implementation, including identifying resource requirement, exploring funding resources and creating policies to approach them, and submitting proposal and administrating fundraising records and documents. Now, scientific approach of management. It is given by a Taylor. Taylor was considered the father of scientific management. It is a classical management approach that emphasizes the scientific study of work to improve the efficiency of a worker. The element of scientific management are the first, scientific task planning, second, time study, third, motion study, fourth, functional foremanship, 5, standardizations, and 6, differential price rate system. Now, let us see one by one element of scientific approach. First is scientific task planning, means scientific task planning is all about the total amount of a work an average worker can do during a day under a normal condition. Management should decide in advance what work is to be done, by whom and where and when. Next element is time study. The time study indicates the minimum time required to finish a particular job. Next element is motion study. The motion study is useful to find out best order of activity to do a particular job to minimize movement of workers. Next element is functional foremanship. Means here the work is divided into a different department. Each department has in charge of particular department specialist. This function foremanship play a role of specialist and it provides expert advice to the workers. Next is standardization. In scientific management, standards have to be set well in advance for a task, material, work method, quality, time, cost and working condition. It helps in simplifying the process of production by reducing waste, improving quality of production and maximum utilization of available resources. Next element is differential price rate system. In order to motivate workers, incentive based wages system has been developed. This concept of price rate system is based on component of workers. The component workers are paid more than the incompetent workers. It also encourages the incompetent workers to improve their performance and services and standards. Now, next is business operations. According to Fayol, the business operation of any organization could be divided into 6 activities. The first is technical, means producing and manufacturing products. Next is commercial, means buying and selling and exchange the product. Next is financial. Here, search for an optimal use of capital. Next is security, the protecting an employee and property. Next is accounting. In this, recording and taking stock of cost, profit and liabilities, maintain balance sheet and compiling statistics. Next is managerial. In this, planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating and controlling. Next is principle of management. By Henry Fayol, 14 principle of management is given. The first is division of work. In this, work should be divided with various individuals according to particular expert skill and knowledge in a particular area. With division of work, it helps the individual in acquiring speed, accuracy in the performance. Specialization leads to efficiency and effectiveness for the organizations. Next principle is authority and responsibility. Means here right to give orders and power to assign a duty. Whoever accepts authority also accept the responsibility. Next principle is unity of command. Subordinates should receive order and be answerable to one and only one boss at a time. Unity of command provide enterprise of disciplined and stable and ordinary existence. It creates melodious relation between superior and subordinate. Next is unity of direction. According to this principle, efforts of all members of an organization should be directed towards a common goal. Next is subordination of individual interest to a general interest. The interest of one person should not take a priority over the interest of whole organization. Next principle is equality. Equality means all employees should be treated in organization as equally as possible. Next is order. This principle is concerned with the proper and systematic arrangement of things and people. Arrangement of things is called material order and arrangement of people are called social order. Material order, there should be a safe, appropriate and specific place for every material and a machinery. Social order means selection and appointment of most suitable person on a right place. Next is scalar chain. Manager in hierarchies are part of chain like authority, skills. Each manager from first line supervisor to a president possesses certain authority. Employee will communicate with lower level managers. Lower level manager should always keep upper level manager information of the particular activities. Next principle is discipline. Discipline means sincerity, respect of authority and observance of rules and regulation of a company. This principle applies that subordinate should respect the superior and must obey the order given by the superior. Next principle of management is initiative. The workers should be encouraged to take initiative in the work assigned to them. The management should provide opportunity to his employee to suggest their idea, experience and new method about the work. Next principle is fair remuneration. Henry Fayol says that remuneration to be paid to our workers should be fair, reasonable or satisfactory. Fayol also recommends that provision of other benefit should be given to our workers like free education, medical and residential facility to the workers. Next principle of management is stability. Fayol says that employees should not be moved frequently from one company to another company. Next is stability of tenure of personnel. Retaining productive employee should always be high priority of management. Means recruitment and selection cost as well as increased product reject rate are usually associated with higher new workers. Next is spread the carb. Management should encourage coordination and generate good feelings among the employee work in a company. Maslow's hierarchy of need theory. The first need is sociological need. In this, breathing, food, water and sleep. Second is safety. In this, security of body, employment and resources. Next is social need. In this, friendship and family. Esteem means a self-esteem and confidence, achievement, etc. Next is self-actualization. In this, morality, creativity, spontaneity and problem solving, etc. are. Next is sociological need. These needs are those required to a certain sustained lives like air, water, nourishment and sleep. According to Maslow's theory, if such needs are not satisfied, then one should motivate will rise from mission to satisfy these basic needs. Higher needs such as social need and esteem are not felt until one has met the basic need. So here the basic need should be fulfilled. Next is safety need. If the person's sociological needs are satisfied, he is looking for a safety need. Such need might be fulfilled by living in a safe area, medical insurance and job security. Next is social need. Once the person has met lower level needs, he is looking for a higher needs. These needs are become important for the person. The first is social needs. Social needs are those related to interaction with the other people, and it may include the needs for friend and needs to give a and receive a love to a person and from a person. Next is esteem needs. When a person feels sense of belonging, the needs of feels important rises. Esteem need may be classified as internal and external esteem need. Internal esteem need are those related to self-esteem such as self-respect and achievement. While external esteem needs are those such as now the next topic is quality of leader. This is very important and it is always asked in examination. First quality is proactive versus reactive. The brilliant leader is always thinking 3 steps ahead. Here, he avoiding problem before they arise. Next is flexible versus adaptable. How do you handle yourself in unexpected or uncomfortable situation? An effective leader will adapt to new surrounding and situation, doing his or her best to do adjust with the situation. Next quality is respectful. Give a respect to a other automatically earn a respect from others. Next is confidence. Be sure of yourself with the humble intention. Next, fifth one is a good communicator. A leader must listen lots of things. Leader have to understand needs and desires of the other people. A good leader asks many questions, consider all the options and leads in a right direction. Next quality is enthusiastic. Excitement is a transmittable, means when a leader is motivated and excited about a thing, people will more in this line to follow. Next is open-minded. A strong leader will consider all options when making a decision. Eighth one is well educated. Leader must have a related education to the position. Next quality of leader is resourceful. Means utilize the resource available to you. If you don't know the answer to something, find out the answer by asking a question. Next quality is rewarding. A brilliant leader will recognize the efforts of others and also support those actions. Next quality is open change. A leader will take into account all the options of view and will be willing to change policy, program, cultural traditions that is outdated. The system that is outdated or no longer beneficial to the company. Leader must have to change outdated process or policy. Next is interested in feedback. Leaders must welcome a feedback as a gift to improve themselves. Next quality is evaluative. Evaluation of event and a program is necessary for all the company to improve the progresses. A brilliant leader will constantly evaluate and change program and policies that are not working, that are outdated. Next quality of leader is consistent. Confidence and respect cannot be attained without your leadership being consistent. People must have a confidence that their opinion and thoughts will be heard and taken into a consideration. Next quality is delegator. A leader will know the talent and interest of a people around to him, the working with him. Thus, delegating tasks can be done accordingly. Next is initiative. A leader should work to be the motivator or a initiator. He or she must be a key element in any planning, implementing and any new ideas or programs or policies. These are the 16 qualities of good leaders.